Hello, Keith. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for taking the time today. We're going to be talking about trends in food retailing for 2024, and was hoping you could share some of your thoughts. What do you think are going to be some of the key trends that we're going to be seeing that will impact food retailers in the year ahead?
Sure. Well, I think some of it will be a continuation of what we've seen in 23. For example, there was a significant pause during the pandemic and things like M&A activity and transactions being done. We had seen, the last decade, a lot of moves in that direction. And I think, we've seen activity pick up both within retailers and on the food side of things. And as these companies look for ability to take share, reduce infrastructure costs, I think we're going to continue to see that activity, particularly as revenues are starting to decline. Companies are looking for opportunities for additional revenue growth, and that'll help fuel that.
Terrific. All right. And what is your outlook for, I guess, inflation? Will it continue to abate? And just the economy overall in terms of the ability for consumers to continue spending as they have been?
Yeah. Well, the one good thing for food is people need it, right? The sustenance. So, within the food category, I think we'll see, consumer will continue to spend there. But as there's pressures on pricing within food or fuel, that's going to continue to put pressure on the pocketbook. We're seeing a lot of talk lately about the pressure on the consumer, student loan debt right now having to be paid back. Consumer debt is at an all-time high. So the consumer has really depleted those savings that they had built up during the pandemic. And I think there's going to be softness going forward. So we're going to see some slowdown in growth. I think that's going to be opportunity for value players to step in and have some nice growth going forward. But inflation will, it has leveled off here, but still at an all-time high. You look at beef, for example, the pricing there is an all-time. We're still, compared to 2 or 3 years ago, have much higher food prices. So I think as the economy slows down a little bit, you'll start to see less demand for those goods, and hopefully you'll start to see some price deflation going on. But it's going to be slow, I think, as we move into 24.
All right. And you started to segue into my next question, which is competition from the value players. Aldi continues to grow. Walmart is not really slowing down. And I think Grocery Outlet is another one that's continuing to add new stores. Can you talk about how that expansion might impact traditional food retailing? And
Sure. We had seen, kind of in again, 5, 8 years ago, the expansion of the Aldis and Lidls in the US. Lidl had just come into the market, I think, in 2017, really trying to grab share. They had some stumbles along the way, but I think, they're going to be figuring it out here, and they're going to look for more growth going forward. I think, as you mentioned, this economy provides opportunity for a retailer like that for growth. Aldi continues to expand its store counts and its base, and they're going to be able to benefit from this as well. You have Dollar Generals and more rural markets, and they're getting into the food. And as you mentioned, the largest food retailer of all of them, Walmart, which has become the dominant player, continuing to grow in that space. They do continue to add value. And, as the consumer is going to be pinched, they're going to be looking for value opportunities, and Walmart traditionally has been able to provide that. So, there's going to be more pressure, I think, going forward on retailers, particularly regional players that don't have that size and their ability to offer best pricing and value. I think where they'll be able to help differentiate themselves to be successful is really trying to figure out niches where they can really add a different sort of experience. So you'll see more investments, I think, in kind of indoor dining, right, in the cafes, that type of experience, trying to be more efficient through checkouts, making some of those investments, as well as focusing on where the consumer is demanding things. So ethnic food offerings, plant-based foods, I think is a trend that I think Whole Foods just said they're expecting that to be a really big growth area for them this upcoming year. So being able to address those changing consumer needs, focus on proteins, et cetera, are going to be big opportunities to combat that sort of lower end play.
Well, terrific. And then also in the value space, I guess you could throw in Amazon as a value player. Plus, they're offering the convenience of online, their expertise in online grocery. Do you foresee them having a bigger impact in the year ahead going forward?
Yeah, I think so. They're certainly the Whole Foods market is doing well. They were really leading the way on some of the investments in the micro fulfillment centers during the pandemic. We are seeing e-commerce, online ordering continuing to grow. It's sort of the rate of growth had slowed a little bit here, but the anticipation is that it's still going to double in the next 5 to 10 years. So you're going to continue to see that evolve, and Amazon, with its emphasis on technology, is going to continue to lead the way in that investment and growth. Their Fresh Direct stores, I think they've taken a pause on those, for example, as they try to figure out how to best maximize that brand. And the Amazon Go is, I think they've closed a few facilities there, but ultimately, and Amazon has the ability and wherewithal to figure this market out. So they will continue to be a serious player as well.
All right. And finally, I wanted to touch on the Kroger-Albertsons merger that may or may not happen. I'm not sure if you have any thoughts about what impact that might have and repercussions for the rest of the industry if it does go through or if it doesn't go through.
Sure. I would expect that it'll go through. I mean, they've been working through a number of the issues and selling off these stores to C&S Wholesale. To give them the opportunity to get this deal executed, at some point in the first half of 24. So I would expect it to go through. Their consolidation is making them a bigger player. I mean, they were already 2 large grocery chains and with all their sub brands, but this is going to give them more scale, right, to take more market share, be able to reduce additional back office cost, and make them a much bigger player as they're negotiating with vendors and trying to get price concessions and things. So you're going to see, I think to compete with that, you're going to see more pressure on the regional players. And you've got some very strong players out there that, the Publix, Wegmans, for example, that have carved out nice niches and loyalty among their consumers. But some of the other regional players are going to have, are going to continue to be under pressure as these bigger grocery chains continue to grow and consolidate. The other thing you will see as a result of that is the food vendors consolidating. So you've seen a couple this year, even recently, with Campbell's buying Rowell's, for example, and Smucker's buying Hostess. And I think you're going to continue to see that because that gives them additional opportunities for revenue, but helps with their cost structure and their scale. And again, when they're negotiating pricing, et cetera, with their retailers, having more scale gives them a lot more strength at that table. So I think you will continue to see this the merger activity continue here, and transactions in general. I mean, even recently, you had within the last day, Fresh Direct announced was being sold by Ahold Delhaize, right? So they want to focus on their retail store. So the activity is going to continue, and we'll just have to wait and see who's participating.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Keith. This was very, very helpful. Those are some really good observations, and I guess we'll just have to watch and see how it unfolds. Looking forward to it.